live.
We are live.
Woohoo.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Nadelko.
And I'm Stacey DeSantis.
Producer Matt.
And this is episode 125, the Easter coronavirus edition of Live at the Hive.
Yeah, I think this is the first time we've done a live on a Thursday, at least in a long time. I can't remember the last time we did one on the Thursday.
Well, what would we have done last April?
I don't think we did one.
We didn't?
I don't think we did one.
That's not a good look. I thought we only missed
Making up for it now, though.
There we
I can't
go.
remember what I did yesterday.
There we go.
Yeah.
So once again, everybody that's in social distancing, quarantine, lockdown, losing your mind at home, how is everybody doing? And what are a couple of things you've been doing this week to keep yourself on top of things and sane? Since we're lucky, it's been very busy. So,
Yeah.
we're definitely blessed for that.
Mm-hmm.
But what are a couple of things you guys have been doing to keep yourself sane?
Gardening.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've been cooking,
Nice.
but going out on walks. We've been having the windows open a lot more, though, with the nice weather. Definitely getting some nice fresh air in the house, which is great.
Yeah. Well, you're in an apartment, right, Matt?
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
there's no
are
gardening
you
for me.
able to get outside?
Yeah, we can go outside. We're pretty close to the exit, so I mean, we can just like go walk around the block. It's not that bad for us, but we're definitely trying to stay in as much as possible. So
Yeah.
I think this weekend I'm going to be cleaning off the patio so we can have a nice little kind of patio that we can go and chill at, right?
Outdoor space, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
What about you? What you guys been doing?
Lots of structure with the kids, lots of scheduling. So, they have a schedule that's which is good. I
Yeah.
think that's a really important thing when you're in this kind of a state.
For sure.
We're lucky we're a little outside of the city, so we got a little more space.
Yeah.
We're in a pretty quiet neighborhood, so we're lucky for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think even as lucky as you are, it's tough because it's you have to. I think a key to sanity is enforcing a schedule on yourself,
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
and kind of sticking to that schedule to keep that regularity.
Yeah.
Because it's a slightly surreal time. I think it'd be easy to kind of walk around in your underwear and not shave for 7 days, kind of thing.
I know my daughter was asking me why I was setting the alarm clock every night, and I'm like, because I need to stick to a routine.
Yeah, because it's gonna be
Mhm.
tough if you're not sticking to the routine. It's gonna be tough once we get back into the swing of things. It's gonna be a real struggle for some people,
Yeah.
for sure. Cool.
All right. Well, today what we are talking about, in addition to obviously tips and tricks for remote working, virtual working, how to be productive, today we're kind of dedicating this live at the Hive to free software, free tools, free trainings for people
Mhm.
that may not be working right now. So you may have some extra time on your hands,
Yeah.
and also strategies for using these tools for businesses that have gone virtual that maybe have not been fully prepped for it.
For sure.
So
Yeah, a lot of the bees have been taking advantage of a lot of these tools. I know some of these tools that are free right now, we actually use on a day-to-day basis before they were free. So this episode is going to be a good chance for people to kind of, we're going to be showcasing some of these tools. We're also going to be showing some of the courses that we've been taking that are free, and they're actually quite expensive courses that they're putting up there for free. So yeah, we'll get a good taste of everything today, which is great. April April's in chat. There's a couple chats going on here. Yvonne says, if you stay inside, you don't have to get there, or if you stay insane, you don't have to get there. Okay.
so if you're already insane,
yeah,
is
pretty
what
much. And then April says that she's sticking to routines has helped them a lot. Stay safe for sure. And then Matei's been reading and cooking too. So yeah.
Very good. Very good. Well, why don't we kick it off? Let's see. Where did you want to start, Matt? You take the dealer's choice on this one.
Yeah, I think there's this big list on entrepreneur.com I have it up right now. It's basically 101 free tools. This is the granddaddy of free tools that they've kind of compiled together, and they have some really good ones right off the start. So I know Zoom. A lot of people have been using Zoom, and I think that's something that we can definitely talk about this week, especially.
We need to talk about Zoom actually.
Yeah, we should probably talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about that now. That's number one on their list, so let's talk about it.
Okay, I'm going to throw up something for people that may not be aware of this, but for businesses, this is super duper important. CNET just released an entire timeline of, I just have to track it down here, an entire timeline of the history of problems Zoom has been having on a number of levels. One is the high level of insecurity around Zoom meetings. They had overstated, and I think this is just important, just for context, Zoom went from 10 million users, monthly active users, to 200 million in the space of like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's insane.
The growth was staggering, and I know a lot of people are still using Zoom, and they may not be aware of this, but the encryption in Zoom is subpar, meaning, and the way that this works in regular English is you can have a very high level of encryption, which is called end-to-end, E-to-E encryption. WhatsApp uses that. Actually, Cisco's WebEx uses end-to-end encryption, meaning you two would have a key on your side, I have a key on my side. The only way to decrypt that data is for your key and my key to work together, right?
Yeah.
So as your data is traveling across the interwebs doing what it's doing, there are servers it's bouncing through, and people can intercept that data. Meaning, if you're having a business meeting on Zoom with confidential files, intellectual property, customer data, all of that kind of stuff, all of those things can be stolen. And there are attacks that are happening on that. And one of the really important things to understand is it's not just the Zoom bombing that's been an issue. That's a weak security setting. They had some servers routing data through China as well, which means a certain portion or percentage of those are going through servers where that data could definitely be compromised. It's a long list. I'm trying to track it down here. I know it's in my other history here. There it is. So I'm going to put this in. If you can throw this in the chat, Matt, that would be great. So, look, if you're going, I guess at the end of the day, if you're going on a book club or something like that, okay, fine. But if you're holding business meetings using Zoom, I would strongly suggest you look to an alternative. There are a lot of alternatives. There's Adobe Connect, Cisco WebEx, Join Me, GoToMeeting, a whole bunch of different alternatives that might be superior for you.
See that one guy this week, it was on the news, he was doing his dissertation for his PhD, and he just happened to be African American, and somebody went on there and he was doing it through Zoom, and they started like adding racial slurs, this, that, and the other. So it's a real thing.
Yeah, it is a real thing.
Yep. So just to summarize some of this, Google has banned Zoom. The German government warns against using Zoom. Singapore teachers are banned from Zoom. I think the entire country of Hong Kong has banned Zoom. They're talking about classroom security being an issue.
The U.S. Senate is avoiding Zoom right now too. This timeline, I'm looking at this timeline right now on CNET. It's actually pretty intense.
Yeah, and Zoom accounts have been found all across the dark web with their username and login information, which, hopefully you are thoughtful and secure with some of your more critical platforms that you're using. But if that gets out, then that's how you can get hacked as well.
Just like, the rise and fall of it is just insane. I mean, a couple months ago, you know what I mean? Their users don't compare to now. And then now that this security breach, I mean, you've had the most people using your platform in probably the history of your company, and now in one fell swoop, people are I guess you could say banning your use, right?
Well, I think it's just that Zoom is famous for They're free accounts, relatively good service, but the free accounts are a big one, right? And if you look at a competitor, and this is not to slam Zoom, but if you look at something like Cisco WebEx, which has been around, has always touted security. Invariably, this always happens, which is the burglar's in your house and you go, gee, I really need a security system, right? It's they didn't, it wasn't planned for properly before, and nobody really cares until something like this happens, and then it's kind of too late.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that this highlights some of the needs for businesses to, during remote work, to really look at what can be some basic security. Everybody using a VPN, for example, is one really good way to start, locking down with two-factor authentication, picking platforms that use, the best possible security that you can come up with. I think it's critically important because, if your business has intellectual property or trademarks or patents, confidential client information, people's personal data, these are things that are going to be used and discussed on these conference calls. And it just really requires just a bit of diligence and thought and care.
For sure. Absolutely. And this list that we have, this 111 tools, it is categorized. So the first section is all about communications. So if you are using Zoom right now, there are some really good alternatives for you to use. And some of these we've already talked about, like Slack, Google Hangouts for sure, even Discord and Vidyard as well.
Yep. Yeah, and that's Vidyard is video messaging as opposed to actual live calling. Lots of good different examples. We've used LogMeIn and JoinMe and PGI Global Meet as well. And just I think for a business, it's to be thoughtful about what you should be using for some of this stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure.
Cool. Let's see. What else is some good stuff in here?
We have some free software. I think, Stacey, you sent me this one. Free software and tools that businesses and even schools can use during the COVID crisis.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even like going back a step, what's really interesting is not only if your business, what tools are you using, but as a business, what tools are you offering people for free? It's a great time for people to offer these tools and get adoption for them. And then they're going to build like an authentic following. People will probably not mind paying for them once COVID-19 passes, and it's a great way to, like give them that trial run.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're in a position, if you have educational platforms or resources or things that have been paywalled before, now is a great opportunity to lend a helping hand to people that, they can't afford it or, whatever it might be. It's a really good gesture to help because now is a time. There are a lot of eyes, as we discussed last week, on social media in terms of, I think 31 or 34% increase in minutes spent for Canadians. So people are consuming content and looking for different ways, especially education courses and tools. We've got some on the marketing space. It's great. I mean, I think Matei talked about this last week, which is Adobe's giving out free home access for students and teachers for Creative Cloud. That's a good one. Atlassian, for teams of up to 10 people. So Confluence is a wiki that is a really good wiki for internal communication, knowledge sharing, organization, documentation. That's definitely one that I would recommend.
Yeah, for sure. We used that in the past, and we still use it today for a lot of our workflows and kind of shared notes. I know we've used it in the past for onboarding as well. So it's really good. But I think Stacey kind of said this earlier, like allowing people to have access to these tools right now, yes, it's a benefit for them in the short term, but I think as well as like in the long term, people are going to be using these for a couple months. Like I don't think we're going to be going anywhere for the next couple months. People are saying till the end of June, etc. And this gives businesses a time to actually get to know the platform a little bit more than maybe a few weeks. You know what I mean? It's going to take a couple months, and it's going to become second nature for these people, right?
It's all part of like integrating it into their routine. Like we were talking about earlier, how important routines are. If I start using a platform that maybe I hadn't considered because there was a price behind it, and now it's being offered to me for free, and I start to use it, it's going to become part of my routine. I'm going to start wanting to use it. Like, so my daughter had a geography project this week, and she used the free tools from Avid, and she had to do it on archaeology sites in the lowlands of Canada, and she had all these videos that she put together. That's something that she may want to use after this is all said and done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a great opportunity for businesses to consider offering these things for free, whether it's education, marketing, security, video conferencing, across the board, we're changing how we operate.
Yeah. And we've had some conversations with more traditional clients this week in the legal space. There's still going to be the requirements. Obviously, there's going to be workplaces. There's going to be these things, but there will be an adjustment. I totally agree in terms of people's comfort level. Just as an example, one that I would personally highly recommend as well is Cisco does have a free version of their video conferencing software, WebEx, available. Support for up to 100 people on a call. It's a great alternative. It's from Cisco's. I kind of liken Cisco to IBM back in the 90s. There used to be a saying that you'd never get fired for buying IBM. Cisco's very much that same way. It's very mature products. So highly recommend that as well. Dropbox is giving out some free services there, especially for nonprofits and NGOs.
Yeah, I think right now too that's a good point. If you're a nonprofit organization or a charity, etc., there's some really unique opportunities for those organizations as well right now. A lot of people, a lot of tools right now, even though they might not be free, they're actually offering them to charities and NGOs as well, right? So if you are one of those organizations or you work with one of those organizations, I would strongly recommend you reach out to these companies, these tools, and see what they can offer you and help you out with right now, because I know it might not be advertised right now on their website, but a lot of these platforms are willing to help these organizations.
And there's even some platforms here in the list that they specifically are just offering free access to first responders.
Yeah.
Blue Jays, for instance. So I think that's awesome.
No, it is great. There's quite a few in this list here. Some other interesting ones. If you are like we have G Suite. So if your business does use G Suite tools, there's an extended version of Google Hangouts for free. Where did it go? And you can have up to 250 people, and allows for meeting recordings and saves. So again, another alternative to Zoom, provided for free if you are a G Suite customer. That's definitely a good one. Let's see what else we have in this big list.
I really like the way that Entrepreneur did it, though. They kind of put it into categories like you were saying, Matt. Like, one thing that I did notice here, though, that they didn't really get into are the apps or the services that have to do with your general health and well-being. I think that's really important given the certain circumstances, like Peloton's offering a free trial, which is really smart considering all the,
but how do you get a free trial when you have to have a bike? How does that work?
They keep.
I don't know, but another one. I know Dan's gonna tease me because I'm a hippie, but there's this really great app called Down Dog that is absolutely free and you can do yoga at home. So I think it's important to remember to look after.
I wouldn't make fun of that. I was actually going to say that there's a few really good other really good apps. Calm I'm not sure that they do have a trial. I believe they've extended it. I have no proof for that, but Calm is a good stress reliever. How to sleep. I don't know about you guys, but my sleeping patterns have absolutely exploded into weirdness.
Yeah, my sleeping patterns don't even get me started. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's tough.
More
But
than that.
Calm has things like white noise and different types of meditations and things like that. So definitely something to look out for on that front.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Let's move into a few of the free educational resources that are available.
Do you want to start with SEMrush?
So, yeah, why don't we do that?
Okay. Alrighty, I have that Academy page.
So SEMrush. Cool. So there's some good learning courses in here for you. The SEMrush SEO Toolkit course, keyword research course with Greg Gifford. Definitely lots of good resources. And I believe, let me just see here. If you click on the courses tab at the top there, Matt.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, you'll see the full list. One that if you are a business owner and you are looking to figure out, how do I communicate? What should I be communicating? I can definitely give you some advice here for local businesses that are brick and mortar. Provide your social, and hopefully social's been a focus for you and you do have an audience there. Is send updates about the status of your business. Are you doing deliveries? Are you, can they use DoorDash or something like that? But one thing I would suggest out of this course listing here that's very useful is the local SEO course with Greg Gifford. It's 10 lessons. And this is important. Of the 2 trillion, so Google search has 2 trillion searches per day. Pretty big number. 50% of those searches are locally based, right? People looking for things near to them and around them. So with this local SEO course, I think what you'd be able to do is get into Google My Business. Just as a note for business owners, Google My Business has shut down the ability to provide reviews and ratings to prevent all sorts of madness from happening because businesses may be closed, people may be upset. It is what it is. But there are Facebook and tons of other, Yelp, TripAdvisor, keep going down the line. There's tons of other review sites. But I would encourage you to take some time and go through this local SEO course and get your knowledge base up. You could go in today and start posting on Google My Business, giving your clients updates using Facebook and Twitter to reach out to people. I think there's a big passion for people to want to support these businesses in any way they possibly can right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think that's a really great point, Dan, because there's a lot of businesses that have had to transform their whole business model overnight into, a store on a street to being an online store. And this is a great opportunity for them to take the time to, lay out the groundwork so they can build that up in quick time, turnaround, right? So.
Yeah, and if you do have a business and you're trying to figure out the best way to communicate, I know there's a lot of, emails and communications going out. I think it's important, one, providing good, helpful information, positive information, status about your business, but as it affects your customers, to keep them informed and keep them up to date. That's a 100% valid thing to do. The other thing that you can do, and I've said this a couple of times, but I think it's worth repeating, if you're in a services business, for example, real estate, legal, accounting, that kind of thing. If you're a hairdresser, right? Hairdressers are closed. Do a live stream showing people how to cut hair and do a fade with clippers.
Yeah.
And do it for free and promote it. Keep in touch with those people by giving them things they can do at home.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because this is the time when you're going to be able to build trust with your audience, especially because you've been a valuable resource for them in a time of need. So why not?
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. We have a comment in the chat Ricky says, yes, it's a really good course. And he also wanted to let Dan know that it is, in fact, Thursday and not Friday.
Did I say Friday?
No, I think he's saying it because Live at the Hive is usually on Fridays.
Well, Ricky, being the good Christian that you are, you know that tomorrow is Good Friday.
Yes.
So we will not be going live on Friday. We are on Thursday. We were not confused. Sorry if we confused anybody else out there. Let's flip over to the promo hub because I think this one's another really good one as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I know that Stacey, you and Matei use. I think you've used promo in the past. I think, haven't you?
Sorry, we got another. We had a comment there from Rachel Kirk. Hi, Rachel. Rachel says, I had no clue. This is alarming for sure. Going to pass this information off to my coworkers using Zoom. Well, great, and I'm glad that we were able to get the word out.
Mm-hmm.
It's the word is going out to certain people that if you go to CNET and you follow these things, we obviously do for various different reasons. But I really don't think I actually think that Zoom is doing a damage control PR program to really kind of minimize it.
Mm-hmm.
But it really can't be minimized. They've got 4 class action lawsuits that are pretty substantial and investigations by the Federal Trade Commission. Yeah, please be careful and let your coworkers know that if they're using Zoom, critical business information will have been put at risk already. Mm-hmm. Like that's too late. Mm-hmm. But anyways, glad that we were able to help out, Rachel.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So one more here, promo.com. Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering if we can email them and ask for it for free. It's limited to 5 projects. Okay. So they did a COVID-19 support hub for small to medium-sized businesses. I like the tagline, your customers aren't gone, they're just at home. That's too true. If you're a business, and I know these are dark days, and I know it's no fun, and there's a ton of uncertainty, but the most powerful weapon you've got in your arsenal is social media today. And you should be using it, and you shouldn't be scared of it. To keep in contact with your customers on a regular basis is one thing you can do now. And Promo's got some really good things here. So Promo, what it is, if you're not familiar, you can create really good videos without any video production knowledge. They've got tons of stock video that's actually quite good. Mm-hmm. You can shoot your own video and upload it with your iPhone. Mm-hmm. And the editor's a fairly easy to use online editor. The other nice thing is here, if you scroll down a bit more there, Matt. Mm-hmm. And again, let's say you have absolutely no clue what to do or how to do it. Well, they've got 50 free templates, both about debunking myths on COVID, some inspirational stuff, that you can work into your sharing that content and just putting your own spin on it. Mm-hmm. And again, we're not necessarily talking to the digital marketers out there, and I'm pretty sure that the digital marketers would know this, but if you're a small business that has no clue and has no resources right now to kind of turn to, this is one. And then if you scroll down even a little bit more, you've got a free social media calendar, a nice series on actionable tips to maintain your online presence.
How to move your business online. I think that's a really topical one right now too. So that's a really good resource.
There's also a free collage maker, making a photo collage, free image resizer, a Facebook support group where you can go and ask questions, and free Facebook video ads workbooks to do some promotion, whether that makes sense or not, debatable. Some free promo apps for Shopify, and just on the free tools, it should go without saying, Shopify has a 90-day free plan now. So if your business isn't ready, you can get a simple template. You can move your stuff online, at least get started. Without just being frozen into inaction.
And Shopify's got a a really good support team too. So if you have a lot of questions, they're there to help you.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then down at the bottom, there's tons of support articles down there, and I think I think one of the important things is like going through this, especially if you've got a lot of time on your hands right now. It's important to kind of go through some of these. There's some really good funding programs. I think these would mainly be U.S. based, but looks like they have a bunch of international things. If you are remote working, there's a whole section on how to stay productive with remote work, which it's one thing to work remotely and it's another thing to work remotely effectively. Those are two different things. And that's just, I think Stacy mentioned it. It's, people don't like change, but once you adapt to change, and it's going to create a new normal in how people work. And hopefully coming out of it, that's going to be a positive.
And another thing I wanted to mention is, it's like you said, Dan, it's really important to stay in touch with your customers, but it doesn't all have to be COVID-19 messaging. I think one trend that we're seeing a lot at the Hive is that a lot of people are engaging with content that creates inspiration or distraction. So creating a promo video that's fun and lighthearted and like fun things you can do at home with your kids, or doing like a tongue-in-cheek about being bored. It's one of the reasons why TikTok's so popular right now, because it's an easy distraction. It gets your mind off of all the negativity that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, for sure. And just one example of a simple series that we put together for LinkedIn is share your workspace and share a workspace tip that you do to your network. Just simple things, right?
Yeah.
It is highly effective. And yeah, you can mix up all of your different types of content. I mean, definitely don't just go COVID-19 update. I think there's a wide breadth of things to talk about. How to work strategies, how to keep a routine strategy, right? How to stay sane, memes and jokes about going insane. Those things are all good and healthy things to do as you're communicating. And again, silver lining on everything. Now is the time you can really build substantial relationships with your customers. And I can't reinforce this enough, but if you're a real estate agent and you can go live every single day for 45 minutes and just answer people's mortgage, real estate questions. I mean, a lot of people are worried about the status of their mortgages. What's going to happen? How does this all work? And that, genuinely answering people's questions is going to build a bond between you and your customers. If you're an accountant, answer people's tax questions. What are the different programs I can benefit from? I'm surprised, and I'm following it obviously, but there are a lot of Ontario. There's a $200 one-time, but better than nothing, child tax benefit that the Ontario government gave out to help support resources for kids learning at home for $200.
You mentioned a really good point about mortgage questions, because not to get into mob business, but I had to call my bank. There was a 40-minute line like on hold just to call my bank. Now, if I was that mortgage solutions provider and I did, Facebook Live, and then I was looking for information and I saw that, think how many calls you're going to reduce coming in, because you're actively providing useful information.
Yeah, and that goes without saying. You will probably not get through to your bank if you call the 1-800 number
or the CRA.
Well, the CRA is pretty much shut down right now. You do know that, right? Yeah. They're not working in their offices, and they don't have really remote work capabilities. So it's an interesting time for them in general. So just a pro tip for Canadians: make sure you go to your online bank and connect your payment to your social insurance number so that you can receive any taxable benefits from the Canada Revenue Agency direct deposit. That will get you any benefit you get, whether it's the CERB, the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit, or CEBA, which is the business one. And anything that comes out, you'll get an instant deposit. If it has to get mailed, think about the logistics. It's going to be up to 10 days, probably longer.
Yeah.
And then you have to try to get to a bank to deposit that check. So if you haven't done this already, every major bank in Canada is supporting this. It depends on where. It's usually in your bank account itself, if you have like a checking and a savings. You just go in there. There will be a section for the CRA. All you have to do is add your social insurance number and your birth date, and you're done.
Boom.
Boom. But yeah, please do that, because, flatten the curve. I mean, I would hate to, if you were waiting for something and then you got to wait for snail mail, and who knows how that's going to pan out, right?
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah. And you don't need to overload the system when you can just get it so easily. And I mean, at least for once, the CRAs seem to be being very cooperative and trying to be helpful. So that's a good thing. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So,
groovy.
All right. Well, hopefully those are some useful tips. And again, there's so much software in here that is being offered for free. I know that for scholastic.ca is actually, I believe it's free now. And if you are a parent, there's two things you can do. You can use the Khan Academy, which is always free, which is great structured learning for kids. It does follow curriculum. I don't think it exactly follows Canadian Ontario curriculum, but scholastic.ca does. So if your child is either bored or, at least with my kids, the teachers have been trying to build out as quickly as possible a curriculum, which is no small task. That's a lot of work.
Same with mine. And I actually noticed today that Resurrection had a live Facebook Live of how to paint Easter eggs. So if the kids wanted to join, even though they're high school students, it's a project, right? So, yeah.
Very nice. Oh, Dan, are you there?
Anyway.
I think he dropped.
He's off to go collect Easter eggs, I think.
It's all good. It's all good.
We can wrap it up.
I think he was going to be wrapping it up anyways. So I hope everyone enjoys their long weekend. Good Friday's tomorrow, so definitely call your family if you're not living with them. FaceTime.
And we're going to be posting these lists, right, Matt?
Yeah, for sure. We're going to post everything in chat, so that big list of the 111 tools, everything that we talked about today, we will be posting. So definitely keep eye out for that. And Ricky says freeze frame. Yep, that's right. Freeze frame. Alrighty, well, enjoy your weekend, guys. We'll talk to you later, and see you for episode 126 of Live at the Hive. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.